Hello, Dr. Grant.
Hello, grace evening.
Better known as the McDonoughville Minister. We are coming up on your 25th year of pastoral leadership on Sunday, and in fact, it will be 25 years to the date of your election, right?
Yes.
Today, I'm going to ask you 7 questions for us to get to know you a little bit better.
That's a good number.
Okay, the first question. What led you to pursue ministry, and how did you know that it was your calling?
The calling on my life to serve as a minister came at the age of 20. I had graduated from high school. I was working and just hanging with my boys for a couple years, and God was tugging at my heart, and I surrendered and just sold out and was going to church. I was what the old folk call on fire. So I was going to all the services. I was hungry, for God and for His will. And it was a progression because my first gift is the gift to teach. The second is the gift to preach, and the third is the gift to pastor. And it's been a wonderful journey, acknowledging my call.
Wonderful. And I remember, when you first accepted your calling, you really were on fire, and the fire has continued to burn for all of these years. When we think about the way your ministry has changed over the years, because it has developed, or better yet, evolved.
Yes.
What has been your top 3 highlights as you have evolved into the McDonoughville ministry?
First of all, I pastor my home church in my hometown, and this church has been here for 135 years in one location. It's not just a church in the city, it's a church for the city. So being called to your home church is unique, and being able to lead the people who watch you grow up and invested in you is an awesome thing. And just being the pastor of St. Paul is a major highlight, and it's very fulfilling. My ministry partner, personally, my wife, God gave me what I needed. She was created to be my wife, to be my ministry partner, and I cannot do what I do without her assistance. She is gracious and prayerful and wise, and so being married to Myrna is a big thing. And evolving into the McDonoughville ministry, I always had pride about McDonoughville, but God took that to another level over the last several years, and we've branded the McDonoughville ministry. And it is known not just here in McDonoughville, in the New Orleans metropolitan area, the state, but it's known in the nation. And that brings me great joy.
Wonderful. Well, one of your answers brings us to our next question. Your dear wife, the love of your life, your rib, Myrna A. Grant. You are very descriptive with your love for her and the divine connection that you all have. So let's play a game. I'm going to say a letter, and I want you to say the first word that you think of when I say that letter. M.
Myrna.
Why? I'm young.
Yeah, and I like that because it's 25 years, but to be honest with you, after 25 years of pastoring, I have the energy of a first-year player, but I have the experience of a veteran. So young is important.
R.
I'm resilient, but there are so many words that I can use to describe, who I am using the letter R. because naturally as a communicator, I'm a literator. But Aura, resilient, rewarding, refreshing. One of my ministries is to encourage people, to give them a fresh start. So I like Aura.
In.
In. Never give up. Never. And life has two rules. Rule number one, never give up. Rule number two, always remember rule number one, never give up.
And the last letter, A.
Well, A is for advancement. A is for academics, because I pride myself on being the best pastor, preacher, teacher I can be, and I love learning. I'm still fascinated with reading and discovery. For instance, in your ministry, Encourage Ministry, if I need something done and you tell me about it, I begin to do my own research so that I can know how to be better. So academics, and it's very important for ministry to be learned, to be skilled at your field.
Okay. And if you didn't know, those letters spell out Myrna. Okay.
Yeah.
Next question. Who has been the most influential person in your growth on your pastoral journey?
Well,
besides First Lady Grant.
My pastor and predecessor, Reverend Dr. Eugene Joseph Robertson. And what I mean by predecessor, I succeeded him. And he was my pastor. He was my predecessor. He taught me how to do church. He poured himself into me. He mentored me. So, by far, he will always be, on the Mount Rushmore of people who have influenced and impacted my life. And the successes that I ascertain will also be accredited to him, because he passed the baton to me to take this church into the 21st century.
St. Paul Baptist Church, the church where you were reared and recommitted your life to Christ. When someone asks you about St. Paul, the church where you have pastored for 25 years, what do you tell them?
Oh my God. That St. Paul are a great people, a wonderful people. I describe St. Paul in this way. There are churches that have more building than us, but not more ministry than us. There are some churches bigger than us, and there are definitely some churches smaller than us. But St. Paul is some kind of church. I've been a member of one church all of my life. I've pastored my home church, my first love, ecclesiastically speaking. And in 25 years, I have not flirted with one other church, because I'm on assignment at this church. The only way I will leave this church is if God says you're finished with your assignment. I have something else for you to do. I'm on assignment. I'm called. I'm appointed. And I'm anointed for this ministry.
Okay. Speaking of ministry, as Christians, we have been called to minister in some way. What is your advice to those who get stressed and weary in ministry?
My answer to that question has been in my spirit today, and will be a part of my message for the anniversary. And I was sharing with somebody that the church and I are basically almost simultaneously intertwined. Be not weary in well doing, for in due season you shall reap if you faint not. You can get weary in the work, but don't get weary of the work. There's a difference between being weary in the work and being weary of the work. I grind for glory. I serve from sun up to sundown. And physically, you can be weary. Mentally, emotionally, you can be weary. But I'm never weary of the work, because I can get a call at any time, and I'm gung-ho about serving. But over the years, I was not always here. I've learned how to have balance and have boundaries. And I'm still evolving into being better at that.
Okay. Well, I would be remiss if I did not mention Orin Jr., your baby boy. And in many ways, when we think about it, he served in ministry with you every Sunday, right? Today is his birthday. He would have been 23, correct?
Yes.
He was very gifted and had a calling on his life.
Yeah.
How has his passing impacted your ministry?
When my son was murdered, that changed my whole life. I'm different in many ways. I'm still becoming different without him physically present. But his memory also inspires me. I love to preach and teach. And I believe I was prepared to do his eulogy. But my wife, Myrna Audrey Grant, told me that she needed me by her side. And I would not rob her of that moment for me to be with her during that time of mourning and grieving, because I would be eulogizing Orin the rest of my life. It was bigger than just the moment of the eulogy. It's the rest of my life to eulogize him and to, as the crime dog McGruff would say, take a bite out of crime, just to talk about, gun violence and trying to impact society in some way in his memory to help save a generation and to save young people. So as we sit here, this cup is in his memory. It's my favorite color. And this cup has drums on it. And it says his beat goes on. And that's it. So long live Tiger, that was his nickname. So he's with me. Every Sunday, I'll share this hymn. I'll have one of my cups. I'll have hot tea in it. And I'll be sitting next to my wife after a certain point of service, getting ready to preach. Once it's time for me to preach, I place my cup on the tables. But I will always turn that cup toward me when I'm preaching. Because while I'm preaching, for me, symbolically speaking, he's looking at Daddy. That's what Orin Jr. means to me.
Very profound, Pastor Grant. Well, as this interview comes to a close, as the McDonaldville minister continues to evolve, what is your vision?
Well, I'm spontaneous, and God gives me a lot of visions, plural. But St. Paul is a local church with a global ministry. St. Paul has been a church that rebuilt the wall in the community for Christ. In this current time, we're a perfect church for imperfect people. And if you're perfect, don't join us, you'll mess us up, pun intended. But overall, our mission is to minister to the masses for the master through ministry, missions, and media. And so, as we embark upon this new season, a shift is occurring in our church. And it's now my generation, I'm 56, and people like you who's right behind us to, for the next 25 to 30 years, take this church into another season and to pass it on to others. It's our time. When we were younger, we looked at our parents, but now we're parents, we're family. It's our time. And so, I want to reach the world with good news and good works. And at the end of my life, I want my life to be summed up by 3 Latin words: Soli Deo Gloria. To God alone be the glory. That's who the McDonald Bill Ministry is.
Well, thank you so much for your insight, Dr. Grant, Pastor Grant, Get 'em Grant, Burlee's baby boy.
Yeah.
We appreciate the insight that you have given us on your life this afternoon. And on behalf of the people who you have impacted through the years, who your ministry has impacted through the years, we thank you, we love you, and we need you, right? So we're looking forward to what's coming, and the best is yet to come. God bless you and First Lady Grant. We truly appreciate everything that you all do for us, and like I said, the best is yet to come.
And the why, I'm going back to that, is for Yahoo.